All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much for sitting down and talking with us. I'm so excited to now know you in person. Maggie, we connected through Instagram, and it just always blows me away that we can connect and talk with people that live states away about common things that we love, like therapy dogs. And so thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. We so appreciate it.
Such an honor for us as well. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. So I am so excited to talk about both of you and the way that you work with Dorothy, because Maggie, you're a therapist here in San Antonio, and Zoey, you are now an official junior handler of Dorothy. And so I'm so excited to dive in and share with our community how y'all work and how you interact, and now with COVID, really how you're serving. So let's kick it off from the very beginning of this sweet girl and tell us how you met Dorothy and why you chose therapy work for her.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was, for a long time, we didn't think Zoe wanted a dog in our family, but we didn't think it was an option because of her allergies, history of asthma, but specifically allergies to dogs. But then when she was in fourth grade, she had a teacher. This teacher is amazing, Miss Ownby. To me, she's like the best teacher, a fourth grade teacher. But she had a service dog, a retired service dog, who happened to be an Australian Labradoodle. And Zoe said she didn't have any problems with breathing, asthma, allergies, nothing. And this teacher was bringing the dog in. I don't know how many times she brought her in, but she brought her in. I mean, she would be in the class for the whole day.
Almost every day.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I saw this dog because I was doing some volunteer work at her school on occasion. And this dog just had the sweetest temperament, just so sweet around all the kids, and just very friendly with me, a stranger. Mm-hmm. And I just loved the temperament of this dog. And so I asked the teacher, what kind of dog is that? You know, I don't know my breeds. So
that is okay.
And she said, well, it's an Australian Labradoodle. And I was just so in love with this dog. I mean, I just thought this dog was just so precious. Just loved you for who you are. You're a stranger, but I like you. I'm going to follow you. You know, it was so touching to me. And so then it occurred to me, I think about a whole year later, I started thinking, why don't we get a dog? I think we went to go look at some dogs and we were thinking, why don't we get a dog? But they were all not hyperallergenic. And then I just thought, why don't I because the price, that was another obstacle, get a dog, Australian Labradoodle, like the one that Miss Ownby had, and it can be part of my business. It can be a business expense, and I can train this dog to work with me. So it was just an idea I had.
Yeah.
So I contacted a breeder, and there was a very long waiting list. But it was just so odd because there were puppies born, but they were primarily male. It was just the oddest thing.
And did y'all want a girl?
We wanted a girl.
Okay.
We wanted a girl. So, but every time it was like, all these boys are available, but not not
You're
girls.
like, are we not supposed to be getting a dog right now?
And we also wanted a caramel color. We didn't want a chocolate.
Well, we wanted a lavender or a caramel. We like those colors, right? It was just more like a personal preference. But so finally, Dorothy came along, but it was like a whole 8 or 9 months later.
Wow, what a wait.
And there was only 3 girls born, and the breeder had already said one of those 3 spoken for, it's going to be a breeding dog, so there's only 2 girls that you can select from.
Oh,
and then the rest were like 7 boys or something. Like, she just was having all these boys. But anyhow, I felt like it was also very spiritual. Like I became very interested in animal-assisted therapy, and I can tell you a little more about that in a little bit. Anyhow, we went on the date that we were supposed to select a dog, so there were 2 girls, and Dorothy just was so friendly with us. The other dog not. The other dog was very shy. They were both so cute. But the other dog clearly did not want to interact with us. Very shy, very sweet dog, but shy. And Dorothy was, the breeder said, Zoe, go walk over there, like into the yard, like away from us, and see if she'll follow you. And Dorothy followed her.
Wow. Oh, that's so sweet. She's like she picked you.
Exactly.
She's like, I want to go home with you guys and be a part of your family.
That's how we felt. That's how we felt. And so we had like a list of 50 names. But after meeting her, we felt like Dorothy's her name. Dorothy means God's gift.
Oh, I love that so much.
And so we wanted this dog that we could share with others. That was the bottom line.
I love that so much. And I love too that because of that teacher, that opened up a door that you thought was so closed. And I think that that's so special because now y'all know the way that she loves you, like you had touched on earlier, it's so unconditional. And getting to work with her now, but she does so much work for you at home. And the way that she loves you, I'm sure that your home feels so complete now.
It does.
It is so interesting the way that a dog's presence can really make something whole.
Yes,
I love
especially
that.
during this COVID period where we're staying home more, not getting together with our friends as much as we used to. It's just, it is a gift having her with us.
And then it's even more of a gift when they do something goofy and it just makes you laugh.
Absolutely.
I love it. It just breaks I just feel like it just breaks all the seriousness of life too. They really have such a great demeanor about them. Well, thank you for sharing that story with me. I can relate to that so much when we got Nash, and it is just so interesting. I really do feel that we choose our dogs, but they choose us too, and I think that's really super special. So that was so cute. I'm glad y'all have her, and she's adorable.
Thank you.
Okay, so you had touched on that you started looking into animal-assisted therapy. Was that something that started just organically in the process of looking for the dog? Did you think before, okay, if we got a dog, I want to do therapy work with her? Tell me how that kind of spiraled.
Yeah, so originally I was thinking just in terms of animal-assisted therapy. Originally just bringing her to my office work, not just, but that was the primary vision I had. And I do have a friend who is in charge of a program at Texas State, and she came to San Antonio, spoke to us more about incorporating animals into therapy work. Professional therapy work.
Now, will you tell us what kind of therapy work you do?
Yeah, so I'm a licensed professional counselor here in San Antonio, and I do specialize in working with people who have had child abuse. That's what I specialize in. So a lot of those individuals do have PTSD. I work with foster care children who have come out of foster care and been adopted, who are still dealing with the effects of child abuse and neglect. But I also work with adults who have gone through child abuse or other losses, other traumatic experiences, who are just having difficulty. And, you know, a dog, I think, can connect with a human unlike human to human.
It's so
I
true.
think when people don't trust, you know, there's a good reason for that. I don't want to dismiss that at all.
Sure.
But they will often be more open to trusting a dog. It's just, and dogs, I think, they just bring non-judgmental. No, they're not judgmental. They just like you for who you are, and they're not gonna judge you in any way. So I think that's the other component that a dog has that us people, I think, we tend to judge, and people can sense that if we're judging them. Yeah.
They can. Well, I think that, you know, it is so interesting. I'm so glad you touched on that because the way that a dog just is, they can tear down so many walls that we leave up around each other because of so many past hurts. And the way that they just have that organic nature to them, it really does make such a difference. I'm so glad that you can have Dorothy in your home, but also work with her. That, I think, would probably add so much to your practice. Have you noticed a change in your clients and the way that they interact with you now versus before that she came along?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's just more of a tendency to just kind of let down your guard a little bit. And, you know, I'm doing telehealth, but sometimes my clients will start having, we're not necessarily talking about traumatic things, but they'll start re-experiencing. So when someone has a lot of trauma, sometimes for whatever reason, they'll start feeling like I'm reliving things, even if they're not specifically talking about the things. And so putting Dorothy on the camera just has such a grounding experience. Like that can bring me, like, not back, but that can help me stay grounded. I'm here. This is the year 2021. I'm not in that unsafe situation anymore. And I do see joy in their faces at times, and it's really a beautiful thing to see. But the other piece is I want to do volunteer work. So I'd love to talk to you in a minute about the volunteer work that we've started, and I plan on continuing. So my daughter does have a history of some health issues. And so through that process, I mean, we went through some very difficult times, particularly when she was a toddler and being in and out of the hospital. And we landed in this doctor's office when she was 3, because she had something that was kind of out of the box that I think he was, like, I feel like it was also very spiritual. Like, we were led to him because he's a well-known here in San Antonio. He's a hematologist and an oncologist. And so if there's anything that's kind of out of the box, he will figure out what it is. He's a brilliant doctor. But the other piece is he's just a very compassionate person. He's just, he's an amazing man. So we met him when Zoe was 3, and he correctly diagnosed her. And I think she's been doing very, well now, but because of him diagnosing her and knowing what the problem was. But in the process, it kind of occurred to me years later, now that Zoe's doing so much better, I want to be there for other families who went through the stress that we went through the hurt that we went through. And I think, how wonderful would that be if we took Dorothy to see some of these kiddos who are going through that, Yeah. And so that came to me later. And so I talked to him, and he is just so receptive. So we started doing, even now, some volunteer work with him. Not seeing the patients directly, unfortunately, but we're taking stickers of not only Dorothy, but there's this organization called, what is it called, Zoe? Operation Sticker Licker.
Oh, that is such a cute name.
And you need to find them on Instagram because they're amazing. So they organize all these dogs to send stickers to them.
That's sweet.
And so some of these people have started sending them to me, and so I go and deliver them. So it's notes, and then they put the dog stickers in there. And the feedback I've gotten from their office, it's just, they said the kids are just so excited and happy. And it just brings joy to them to get those stickers.
Isn't that crazy, though? Again, just such a simple gesture of a dog, and it's changing people's days, like truly changing the trajectory of their day. And I think, again, like, it's such a gift. It's such a gift that they can do that and that we get to be involved in that too. I love. Okay, Zoe, I really want to hear your perspective on what your mom just talked about, because you were in and out of doctor's offices, it sounds like, for a lot of your early life. And you may not remember this because I know your mama said you were 3 at one point going through all this. But how do you feel, like, with y'all stepping into volunteering for this oncologist, how do you feel that you would have been impacted when you were going through your treatments if a therapy dog would have been present? Like, how do you feel now knowing Dorothy? How do you feel like that would have made you feel?
I think it would have brought me a lot of more peace, and I think I would have, like, not that, but I think I would have been a lot less nervous about being there. And it was really hard. I remember some parts about it being really scary, but
yeah, I bet that was really scary. Did you have to do a lot of overnight stays?
Yes.
Yeah, that's really scary. I'm so glad that you guys are stronger, and you see that hurt and that anxiety and that scared feeling that you felt, and you guys are working together as a family to make that different for other families. And I think too, Zoe, the fact that you've stepped in now, which I want to talk about your junior handler certification, because I'm so encouraged by that. But you really see a need with these younger kiddos. And I really think, too, hearing that this is what you're going to do, I think that they're going to be so much more calm around you. Not that they're not going to be Maggie around you. I do think that Zoe's more relatable to them. She's gone through this stuff, but she's also their age. And I think that that's really helpful. So I'd love to hear your perspective and tell me really what made you look into being a junior handler, because I didn't even know that that was possible. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that and kind of how you started that and what that certification process looked like for you.
Yeah, so at first I didn't know it was possible either, but then once after my mom got certified, she found out that I could also be a junior handler. So then I just started looking into it. I started training with Dorothy, like anywhere, on walks. We went to Lowe's.
And don't you just love Lowe's? I love it. You can always take your dog there.
Yes. And then the test process, usually there are 4 tests. 2 are done typically in a medical facility, and the other 2 are observations, just how do you interact with your dog? Do you praise them when they're doing the right thing? Do you know the rules, like keep your dog at least 2 feet away from another dog? And so because of COVID, so instead of doing it at a medical facility, we actually did the test here. So, and then last Sunday I was done and I got certified.
I'm so proud of you. Your mama told me that and I was like, come on, girlfriend. That is awesome. I'm so proud of you. How long did that take you start to finish to go through that certification?
Well, it probably could have been done quicker, but like last year, I don't remember what month it was.
It was in the fall. I don't remember the month either. Maybe September. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we couldn't find the person that does the testing or the observations. She couldn't, because we used to go into nursing homes. That's where I tested Dorothy. And so they've closed the doors to nursing homes, so that's no longer an option. So we did one outside. She invited her, people we don't know, but she invited some friends and some kids and did some testing at the shopping strip of all places.
Perfect. That's a great place, though, if you think about it. So many distraction options, people. It's great.
Yeah. And so the next 2 tests, I volunteered this space. And it is considered, I would say, it's a mental health facility is what it is. But again, she invited these mock patients and people we didn't know. So they just sat in here. Yeah. And there were other dogs who were also a distraction for Dorothy and for the other dogs as well that were tested. Yeah.
I love that. Well, congratulations, Zoe. I'm so proud of you. I hope that others too, that they see you and they're like, well, we have a therapy dog, or our dog is great. Like we could do that. And I think that's going to be such a cool experience for you too, not only to serve as a family, but I think that you're going to grow so much from it. I can speak on our end, though, about how much we've gotten from serving with our dog Nash, and it really does just change your heart in ways that, like, you can't even explain it until you do it, because it really gives you such empathy and such compassion for people in a way that you haven't experienced before, but specifically with you and what you've gone through and what you can bless other kids and other families with is going to be really unique. And I'm just really, really proud of you. So if you could, and I want to circle back and talk a little bit more with you, Maggie, but if you could give any kiddo advice, if they are like, well, I could be a junior handler, what advice would you give them, or what would you say to encourage them?
It's a lot of work. Keep training, just keep working at it, but it's really worth it, and when you get to work with your best friend.
Oh my gosh, you were just the sweetest. I love that. Thank you so much. I can't wait to continue to watch what you're doing. So you're going to have to send me a ton of pictures because I would love to share those. Thank you so much. Okay, I kind of want to wrap up a little bit and talk about how you were serving before and now how you're serving with COVID and how you've made some creative changes both inside and outside of your practice, and how that's worked in this new season.
Yeah. So it's definitely, it does take creativity because it's very different being in person with counseling versus telehealth. So I had to do a lot of, for myself, I felt like I can't do this telehealth without getting some more training. And specifically, I do a lot of, I do treatment for PTSD. So I use something called EMDR. So I did get training on how to do that virtually, which, I felt ill-equipped at first, but after getting the training, it's completely doable, and I feel very confident. So people are continuing the treatment that they need, which I'm very grateful for. But Dorothy, I think, adds a component because the other thing is she's very, we do have a special bond. And so she's with me. Like when I'm working, she wants to be like right there, like she is right now,
She's
at
so
my
sweet.
feet. And if I call her name and if I feel like a client could benefit from interacting with her, like, you know, Dorothy wants to know, like, about your day. Dorothy wants to know what your favorite snack food is, you know, and you can engage young children that way. And they always are just, I could see the joy in their eyes. So if I call on Dorothy, she's ready. I mean, she's very alert to
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
anyhow, but the volunteer work that we do, I take her to the oncologist's office to drop off the notes and stickers. And so she does interact with the staff, and it's just, she's so happy. She's just,
She is.
she's so happy to see people. Like she, you know how she greeted you?
Oh
She
my
greets
gosh.
them that way.
She literally, and we are around Nash all the time, but the way, the energy and the joy that she had when we walked through the door was really special. So just taking her, I'm sure, just totally changes the staff.
Yes, and she wants to say hi to everybody, but I have to keep her on track. Like, no, we're going up the elevator.
She's like, Mama, but I missed one person.
Yeah. Yes.
Looking at therapy work with Dorothy, what do you think her favorite part is? And that can be before COVID, during COVID. Like, what do you think is her favorite part of it? I can guess, but I'm curious what you say.
She loves people. I mean, she just loves the attention, the interaction. She's all about that. But I also see how it's just more like enthusiasm times 10, or I don't know what the number is. When she sees a young child, it's just really, it's really beautiful to see that. Like when we're at Lowe's, you know, some people say but when we run into children, it's just, there's a different dynamic there. So I do feel very, like I can't wait till she goes to see the patients in person, because I feel like they're just, she's going to be enthusiastic. They're going to be the same way. It's just, I think it's going to be great. Yeah.
I'm so excited. I can't wait to see pictures when that happens. And I hope it's so soon, because I know so many people are going to benefit. And I know I'm preaching to the choir, because sitting here with you as a therapist, but I mean, the way that COVID has impacted people's mental health and just their feelings of loneliness and being isolated and those feelings of depression, I know that Dorothy's really going to help make an impact. And I think it's going to help you guys to just, again, like love people in such creative ways. But I have 2 questions left for you. Okay, they're kind of different though. Okay, so 1, when you think of all of Dorothy's therapy visits or all the times that she's been interacting, what do you think has been the funniest thing that's happened during those visits?
Wait, from the testing, there was this family, and there was this little boy, and she loves to give kisses. She's not supposed to, but
She's like, if I can sneak them, I will.
But the boy came a second time for the second testing at this office, and his parents said that he kept saying in the car, "Remember that dog that wouldn't stop kissing me?"
I wonder if we're going to run into her.
Did he want to run into her again?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And were you there or were you not there?
I was there both times. Yeah.
That's so cute.
So-
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
And it's just so funny too, because obviously you're not going to want to be, you know, it's not therapy dog etiquette for them to give out smooches, but it's really funny when they do. And when someone just loves it, they just eat it up. And it's really sweet, because Nash has done that a couple times too. Nash is not a smoocher, but I swear they know so deeply if somebody needs some type of love, because Nash has given out a couple of kisses to some little kids and they just love it and they're not scared. And I'm like, oh my goodness, Nash, I did not know you were gonna smooch them, but okay. And they love it, and their parents, and sometimes he like licks their entire face, chin to forehead. And I'm like, oh no. But they love it, and their parents are like, that is the cutest thing. And I'm like, okay. Like, I think that's something too and we were talking about this before we started. I mean, they're their own living, breathing things, and they're gonna make mistakes sometimes, just like we do. And I think it's funny when you just sit back and you just laugh about it, because we can only learn from it and be better as handlers. But I do think in those moments when a lot of people don't know any better and they just laugh about it and it brings them joy no matter what. But anyway, all right, well, I'm going to ask you our last question. We're going to wrap up, but I am just so encouraged by you two, by what you're doing in your practice and what you're going to be doing with your doctor, and then Miss Zoey, what you're doing as a junior handler. I just think the way you guys work individually and then as a family is going to be really unique here in San Antonio, and just the families you're going to bless. I mean, even if you change one person's life, I think that's going to be worth every ounce of training and every ounce of time that y'all have put into this. So stay encouraged. But I want to ask you both, I mean, if someone's watching this interview and they see you and they're relating to you and what we're talking about, what would you say to encourage them?
Yeah, I would say just keep training and just don't give up. I mean, there was a time that Dorothy would just get so excited, like jump all over people. And I would feel very discouraged because, of course, she wasn't supposed to be doing that. And the trainer's like, she's not supposed to be doing that. But that has just almost gone away, I would say, now that she just turned 2.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I do remember a trainer, not our trainer, but he was at her daycare. So he saw her every day and he's like, she's such a sweetie. I said, but she jumps all over people. And he said, that goes away. You know, she's my first dog. That's the other part I don't think I shared. She's my first dog. So he goes, don't worry, that goes away. He said, dogs learn that it's going to come, like the attention, the petting, whatever. They learn as they get older, that's going to come. So he goes, don't even worry about that. And so I think in the back of my mind, I tried to hold on to that, but she would still jump all over people, get so excited. And I mean, that's one part of it. But I mean, there were other parts where I felt like, oh, this needs improvement. But as she got older, a lot of those things were not a factor anymore. It's just amazing how it just all worked out. And I just don't give up. I would just say, don't give up.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And I can echo that. I mean, I do think repetition is really important for them. I agree. I think that all dogs, being their own beings, being in charge of their own decisions, like we tell Nash all the time, make good choices. But sometimes they're not going to, and they're going to do things that go against what we want them to do. And I do think a lot of that comes with repetition, with working, and a lot of it comes with maturity and with age. And they learn. And I'm really proud that you guys continue to work with her and that you worked through any doubt that you had in your mind, because anything that we do in life, like, we're going to have so much doubt at some point when things get hard, and you stuck it through, and now look at the work you guys get to do. So thanks for plowing through that and just for really working hard. It'll change.
And I feel the other part I want to also say is a positive reinforcement. I feel like that is also an important piece, because you do want your dog to trust you, to feel safe with you, and to want to intrinsically do what they're supposed to, not because you're going to punish them. So I feel like that's another component that also helped our bond, but also helped Dorothy. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Well, she's so perfect. We love her so much. And I just love you both already. And I'm so grateful that, again, that you took time out of your busy day to sit with us and to share your story.
It's our pleasure.
I really hope it encourages so many people. But we will be in touch. And now that we're friends, we're going to be in contact with each other for now moving forward. Well, you guys are doing great work, and we are just so grateful. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, thank you.